How many petition signatures are you doing tomorrow?
About 50,000.
50,000.
Yeah,
wow.
really amazing. You know, to some degree it's not the agency's fault, because when you have the city council and the mayor assuming in these budgets giant increases in revenue coming in, what would you do if you were an inspector? If you open up the budget and the mayor and the city council shake hands, we got a new budget, and we didn't raise taxes a dime, and it's completely in balance, and then you see the line item for your agency is to have a 30% increase in the number of tickets. You don't need a memo going out. They go and they start writing the tickets because they know that's the expectation in the budget. So to some degree, I understand what these guys are doing, and they came to me sometimes. I'll walk by one of these guys in a neighborhood shopping strip, and I say, "Hey, give our guys a break." And they would say to me, "Look, believe me, we would like nothing more than that." But one of the ways to deal with this is not only to stop that process of backdoor taxes, but also let some of these shopkeepers, when they're contesting those tickets, do it with a mobile adjudication van that comes around to their shopping strip every couple of weeks. They have a hearing officer, they have a stenographer, at least they don't have to take a day off from work. They can just go in there and say, "Listen, the thing was on the ground when I walked into work, it wasn't whatever, contest the fine." That type of thing, I think, might make the inspectors a little bit more sensitive to the community if they know they had to go back to Kings Highway to hear the case. It's the kind of thing that might make them more sensitive.
But shouldn't there be more sensible approach? Every inspector had, there's no guidelines. One inspector, if you have a strawberry that's spoiled, that's one fine. Another one will, his pet peeve is the paper towel.
Look, you're always going to have some variability. The bottom line is it's the law. That there's a law that says you can't do certain things. You know, my brother tells the story of an inspection that he had done at his restaurant where it was after hours, where he had an inspector write them a summons for having an open pail of soapy water in the kitchen. They were cleaning the kitchen, they were mopping and swabbing and doing all these different things, and maybe by technically speaking you're not supposed to have an open bucket of dirty soapy water.
So something like that, isn't that ridiculous?
Yes, and I think that an adjudication officer who's well trained and an inspector who is not having so much pressure to increase fines will do the right thing. You are never going to have a completely controversy-free administration, but I think if you have a certain amount of common sense that seeps into the conversation.
So So what can you do to make it common sense then? I mean, that's a mayoral thing. What would you do?
We have to take the money pressure off these guys. They become revenue agents, and when you're a revenue agent, the single thing you're thinking of is collecting revenue. If you're left to do your job as you think it should appropriately be done. And by the way, the same thing is happening with the NYPD. These guys are stopping thousands and thousands of people who've done nothing wrong because they're being told at roll call, "Guys, you gotta get more of these 250s written." All right.